Hi guys. So I guess we're gonna wait a little longer because I think I'll wait for Rachel to come in, or I might even go and ask her what her story is. Um, I'm just keeping the mask on right now, but when we get going, you're very welcome to take it off, or you can keep it on if you like, as you prefer. Usually in like yoga studios, we tend to have it on until you're on the mat, and then you can take it off. But as always, it's like what you feel comfortable with, you know. So the practice today is a nice, what I call like a Vin to Yin, which means that the first part is all flowing, and then the second part is quieter. And I think it's like exactly what we need on a day like this. Oh my goodness. So chill. I see people have blankets. That's good. It's if you don't have one, don't stress, because you can totally do without it, and it's just like to enhance, you know. So I'm going to go and check on what Rachel's story is, and then we can get going. But if you'd like, the first position we're going to start in is lying down on the floor with the feet on the floor, like this. So if you'd like to get a head start, or just like enjoy the opportunity to lie down, you're very welcome to do that. Hi, Maria. So I'm just here to say, let you know when we should start. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, could give it another minute. Can I have a look at the number? Is that the people who already came or who? Okay. I'm just. Enter number. Ah, yes. Okay, good. Well, I've put people into the poster, and then they can, we'll slowly. I won't officially start for a couple more minutes, and then we'll see how it goes. Mhm. 100%. Exactly. What time is it now? Yeah. I would say at 22 we should definitely close the door. Cool. Okay, hello, my friends. We're gonna get going, even though there's a couple more people who are gonna filter in, so I hope you won't mind them filtering in. They may or may not, but we'll start the thing so we have plenty of time to do all the nice practice. My name's Emma, if we haven't met before, and if we have, hello, virtually. I've been teaching at GSA for 2.5-ish years, I think, half of which was in a computer, which was very strange. But it's always been one of my favorite places to teach and practice. So I'm excited to be here in real life with you today. If you have any questions during or after the practice, just shout, of course. And I'll give you options for everything that we're doing. So if anything feels not that you want to do it, just don't do it, you know. And otherwise, we'll start lying down, just like these guys in the front. So take your feet at least hip distance apart, maybe a little bit more. And I'll invite you to take your hands onto your body, as long as that feels comfortable. And the suggestion is one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Maybe you could add a tiny little tuck of your chin so that you can feel that your neck is really long. But apart from that, let everything be soft. In particular, feel like your pelvis, the bones of your pelvis, are grounding into the earth. Whether you're wearing socks or if your soles of your feet are connecting directly with the mats, can you make the soles of your feet receptive so that your feet are not just about doing, but also about receiving? In general, we like to make ourselves soft, receptive, thinking about what do we need in a winter practice, and in particular, boy, the weather today. Seems trivial to talk about the weather, but inevitably we're all affected by it. And here we are entering into winter proper. As it gets wild and dark out there, we are invited to turn inwards. This is why I asked you to have your hands on your body, so that you can feel and turn towards and tend to yourself. During this practice, any time that you have judgments or to-do lists or anything else popping into your mind, can you invite yourself back? I will invite you back again and again towards you, your breath, your heartbeat, your body, and everything you can feel inside it. I believe we know what we need, always. Our body tells us exactly what it should be. But we're out of the habit of listening. So we're going to refine our ear and open our hearts with our practice today. Take another breath and feel how the hand on the belly, the hand on the chest both get lifted gently by the expansion of your body. And as you exhale, maybe you'd like to part your lips, have a gentle sigh. If that doesn't feel good, don't do it, but allow the body to sink into the floor a little bit more. On your next inhale, take your hands to the floor beside you. And then maybe take your feet a teensy bit wider. We're going to let the knees rock over towards the left and over towards the right. It's a very gentle and easy movement. Starting to get into a little bit of motion and easing things in. Always, whatever we're doing, can you allow your attention to be in what the sensation is. This is how we're responsive to what the body needs. So let the knees go all the way over to one side, all the way over to the other side. Let them be affected by gravity. And then let the knees go all the way over towards the right. Here, if you have space, you can take your hands out in the T shape at shoulder height and take your gaze over towards the left. When we get into this spiral, your spine is going in a spiral right here. You can imagine that breath traveling like a vortex all the way around you, which accentuates the energetic effect of this twisting, this gentle easing out. Take another breath in, fill up your left lung. Exhale. Let yourself be heavy, and then take both knees in towards the middle and then over towards the left as you take your gaze towards the right. So you twist as much as feels good to you. Let your knees be nice and heavy. See if you can encourage the tissues around the hips, maybe around the waist, to just release a little bit. It takes time, and we'll spend more time on these longer releases at the end. For now, we're kind of like marinating the body and like setting the tone for where we're going. So take another big breath in through the right lung. Exhale and shrug something off. And then inhale, come back towards the middle. Draw the knees in towards your chest and give them a squeeze, like you're giving yourself a squeeze. Then we'll roll back over towards your right hand side and press the hands against the floor. Come back up to sit, and we'll meet in a tabletop position. So that's hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Great. So start by pressing your right hand into the floor and reaching your left hand up towards the sky. And I always say hand, but what I really mean is the rib cage. So we're going to reach that hand up towards the sky and take a big breath in, and then reach the hand all the way to the back of the mat and follow it with your gaze. As you exhale, the hand comes down and past your knee and then forward. As you inhale, it goes up and then back and then forward. Again, on each circle, see if it can go bigger. See if you can lean back into it. The right hand is pressing strongly against the floor so that you can open up, lean back, open up the whole heart towards the sky. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, take your left hand underneath your right armpit, the left ear to the floor. Good. So here's where you can stay. Or if you like, you can take your right hand forward if there's space. You can tuck your chin gently. We're inviting the breath into the back of the thoracic spine, the rib cage. It's more of those spirals. So we will have a bit more of a flow in just a moment. But for now, I want you to see how you can ease things open. Invite the breath in. Take another breath here. Feel how the back of the rib cage expands. Bring your right hand back towards you. If you extended it forward, press the right hand down and then open up the left hand towards the sky and the heart towards the sky as well. Yes, big breath. Exhale, place the left hand down and swap over. The right hand reaches towards the sky. Good. So you've got a nice strong foundation in that left hand, fingertips spread. Reach the right hand to the back of the mat and follow it with your gaze. with your gaze, with your shoulder, with your hip, maybe even with your pubic bone, with your heart. The whole of you, in fact, is rotating all the way around. So you start to ease into everything, open it up, unravel, enter into your body and your feeling and your experience. Take another breath. Reach all the way up. And then as you exhale, take the hand underneath, right ear to the floor. You can stay with this with the left hand just on the floor. So that can maybe help you spiral around more. Or if you like, you can take it forward. Yeah. I quite like to tuck the chin here, because that kind of helps get the back of that sticky spot between the shoulder blades. But it depends on you. You might have totally different sensations in your body. Main thing is that you're inviting your breath to be as full as possible. And take another breath in. Pull your left hand back if you reached it forward, and then unravel the right hand to the sky. Take both hands forward now, so the knees stay where they are, and take your hands as wide as your mat. I know you guys probably don't want to take the hands off the yoga mat, so that's totally okay. But then let yourself sink down with the belly towards the floor. Main thing is that the hands are wide enough that your shoulders don't hurt. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing. So if you'd like to, looks good. Yeah. So there's no real wrong or right, in particular with this practice today. It's more about how can you feel something. And when I'm cueing particular things like the shoulder distance here, it's so that you feel safe and well in your shoulders and stuff. So let your belly button maybe float towards the spine a little bit more. Soften your breath to let your heart float down. Know that everybody's experience of this posture is going to be a little bit different because of how our bodies are different. Think that your armpits could, unravel a little bit, the tightness there. Stay for another exhale. As you inhale, look forward and take the belly down towards the floor. The hands are going to be underneath the shoulders. Press the toenails down and drag your heart forward. It's a low cobra. So your belly's lifting. So we're not just collapsing into the middle. As you exhale, lower down again. Good. Like a wave, inhale, we lift. And at the top, see if you can look over your left shoulder as you pull your shoulders down the back. Exhale and lower. Inhale, pull yourself forward and up. Maybe look over the right shoulder. Think about lengthening into it. Exhale, lower. Press yourself back into a child's pose. So bend the knees and let the hands rest on the floor. Here again, you might like to take a big breath in. You might like to let a sigh out the mouth. We're not going to dally here. We'll come back to this position again. For now, tuck the toes underneath and walk the hands back towards you. So you're going to be in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Here, definitely take your feet at least hip distance apart, maybe more, and have a generous bend to the knees. Yeah. So generous so much that you could maybe feel your belly on your thighs. Yeah, that's it. So it's really like, think about being a willow tree. We're even going to sway. Let the arms, so you don't have to touch the floor, but let the hands go left and right. And bend one knee and then the other. And see if you can let something release as you do that. Yeah. So, in the winter, the trees have got rid of all their leaves. Here's where you can get rid of some things that you've been carrying that you might want to get rid of. Truly, this is what our practice is for. So we refine it to come into the gold. Stay for one more exhale here, maybe another wave. Even the head is nice and floppy. Then look forward and we're going to walk the hands forward, come into a downward facing dog shape. So the hands are towards the front of the mat. You can keep a bend in the knees. And push your butt back towards the back of the mat. Smashing. Lovely. Looks great. Okay, so bend the knees deeply. And then stick your butt high into the air. So we're going to do some kind of fluid motions in this position. We're going to take the feet out to the rock to the outside edge of the right foot and the inside edge of the left foot. So we've rocked over towards the side. And then press your butt up towards the sky. We're going to do this a couple of times. So bend the knees and then come onto the outside edge of the left foot and then you send your butt towards the sky. Yes, you've got it. Good. Come back to the middle and then over towards the right side. Pushing into the hands, breathing deeply into one rib and then the other rib. so that we're unraveling the left and the right sides as well as the front and the back. Good. Come back towards the middle. Take a breath in. Exhale out the mouth if you like, or just out the nose. Look forward and press into the hands. We'll start to walk towards the front of the mat. Press down into the feet. Now, curl, even take the hands onto the head. Curl your tailbone underneath. Curl your low back, your middle back, and your upper back. Really slow, engaging the quad muscles, engaging the belly. And then reach the hands all the way up towards the sky. The palms touch. And lift yourself up to meet the hands. You can even look up if you like. As you exhale, close the eyes and drag the hands down. The thumbs cross the forehead. And then you take the hands to rest in front of the heart. And this is an invitation, again, to just come inwards. It's not necessarily, certainly yoga is not a religious practice. It's not necessarily a spiritual practice, although it can be if you want it to. It's about a connection with you. So it's about intimacy with your personal self. So this is what I invite you to do here, today and now. Press the feet down, inhale, arms towards the sky. And as you exhale, fold forward. Take your hands onto your shins and press against the legs to lift your heart towards the front of the room. From here, we step the right foot back, the right knee towards the floor. And keep your hands on the floor and curl your chin in towards your pubic bone, which curls forward. So it's like you're doing cat pose, so the back is rounded. And here we're close to the thigh. Now, maybe walk your left foot off towards the left a little bit, just so you've got space between both feet. Press both feet into the floor. And if it feels okay for you, keep the eyes closed as you come up and take both hands onto the heart and on the belly. So this is a sensory experience of coming inwards. Notice also how your ankles are going to go to like keep you balanced. That's cool. Your body's alive. Take another breath in. Feel how your hands are lifted, how your body expansive. Take your right hand to the floor and your left hand to the sky. Open twist. So it's kind of like what we did in the tabletop. So lean with your ribs rather than the hand and breathe in deeply. Yes. Exhale, take your left hand down. Step the left knee back. Press back to child's pose. Exhale. As you inhale, we'll come forward and concave the spine. So your heart goes forward and your hips towards the sky. As we exhale, we round the spine, convex the spine, come back to a child's pose. And on your next inhale, like a wave again, we make that spine into the convex shape, concave shape, whatever. Downward facing dog on an exhale. Good. All right. Look forward to the front of the mat. Let's step your left foot forward. Keep the back knee lifted here. And in fact, no, sorry, put the right knee back down onto the floor and curl the pubic bone forward. So it's kind of like what we just did. But then from there, pressing the left heel into the floor, we're going to lift up and come into a low lunge called Anjaneyasana. So think here that you could lift up from behind the heart. Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll fold forward towards the front. Good. Feet at least hip distance apart. Let everything be soft here. It's not about touching your toes. It's about letting the body soften between your toes and your nose. And letting gravity act on you as much as possible. Take your hands to the back of the head again. Curl your tailbone underneath. Find the rounding of the spine. Eke it out, round it out as you come slowly all the way up to stand. Good. Think about how that stretches the back of the body and let the heart lift. Join the palms. Good. Big breath in and then exhale. Draw the hands down. Let it pass across your forehead. Maybe the eyes can close. Come down towards the heart. And then this time we're going to just slowly continue all the way down towards the floor. Good. Halfway lift, hands to the shins. Lift that heart up. Good. Step your left foot back towards the back of the mat. Stay curled in around your right knee. So the pubic bone is going forward, your tailbone curling underneath. We're rounding that spine. Good. So here we're going to walk the right foot over to the right a little bit, so we've got that nice wide stance. And then take the hands up onto the heart and the belly. So it's really beautiful practicing together in one space, at last. And yet, notice I'm asking you to close your eyes. Because it's not about who's next to you on the mat, it's about what's going on inside of you. Take another breath in, feel how your hands are lifted. Take the left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky, open twist. Exhale, place the right hand down, step the right knee back, child's pose. Follow the breath into a wave, make that concave shape of the spine, heart forward. Exhale, press back, child's pose again, rounding the tailbone. Good. So follow your breath. You might go faster or slower than what I'm saying. Inhale the heart forward, cow pose. Exhale, we're going to come back, downward facing dog. Good. So here, we're going to make that same wave shape, but keep the knees lifted. So lift the heels high, lift the hips high, and start to round your lower back, middle back, and upper back. Yes, Rachel, until you come into a plank. She knows the score, as many of you do. Good, lovely. Keep the belly lifted. Press it back again, downward facing dog, rippling all the way back. Can we do that one more time? Heels high, hips high, round the middle back, the upper back. Yes, lovely. Oh, yes, 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 lovely, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful. All the way back, downward facing dog. Good job. Step your right foot between your hands, left knee down. Again, the pubic bone is scooping forward. This time we're going to lift up Anjaneyasana. Heart surges towards the moon. Exhale, hands to the floor, forward fold. Good. Stay here, let the neck be soft. Let the breast be soft. Press the feet down into the floor. Inhale, arms come all the way up towards the sky. Reach up, look up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Step your left foot back. We're going to keep the back knee lifted. Staying in this low runner's lunge. Stamp your right heel down into the floor. Feel how strong your tushy is as you come up into a high lunge. Good. So it's kind of the same thing. We're feeling ourselves being lifted up, just like that Anjaneyasana. Then as you exhale, turn towards your left. Toes point out, heels in. Keep the hands on the inner thighs. So it's like a goddess shape, they call it, or horse stance. So your tailbone is dropping. I actually call this in my mind rugby manager pose. Because you can see why, right? The left, we're going to turn the shoulders towards the knees. So the left shoulder turns towards the right knee as you push your left knee away from you. And then you come towards the middle and then exhale. So it's more that twisting and unwinding. Good. Oh yeah, good. I can hear this working. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Inhale, come back up to stand. Take your heels out, toes in, hands onto your hips. And then bend your knees a wee bit. We're going to take the left hand to the floor. Or your yoga mat, of course. Yeah. So pull that left hip back in space. So bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. That's totally cool. Or it can be fingertips as well. And then we're going to reach the right hand towards the sky, or rather the left side of the ribs, the right side of the ribs, the heart, all the way up. Good. See if you can keep your left hip pulling back. Maybe a wee micro bend in your knees. Good. So you can feel the twist in the whole of the torso. Take another breath into your right lung. And then exhale, take it down towards the floor. Swap over. Right hand presses down, left hand up towards the sky. Gaze up. And then exhale, come back down again. Good. Press the feet down into the floor. Inhale, come up, arms up. And then turn towards your front of the mat. The right foot will turn towards me. The left foot will stay as it is. Warrior two. Yes. Good. So reach strong across those arms. Legs strong as well. Left hand comes down left leg, right arm up and over. We call this reverse warrior. Opening up and breathing into that right lung. Exhale, both hands square the right foot. Lift onto the ball of the back foot so your hips are square to the front. Left hand down, right hand up. This is open twist. Just the back knee is lifted this time. Good. Big breath into that right lung here. And then as you exhale, take the right hand down, also on the inside of the right foot. First of all, we bend down like a bow here, and then drag your heart forward as much as you can. Breathe in. Exhale, we'll come back down again. Step your left foot forward, forward fold at the front of the mat. Good. Take for an exhale. Press the feet, reach the arms to the sky. Inhale. Straight away, exhale all the way down, fold. Find a halfway lift. Now step your right foot back. So we start in that runner's lunge, back knee lifted. Press down into the left heel, so come up high lunge. Good. And then turn towards your right. Hands onto the inner thighs. Good. So a little bit different this time. Rather than twisting, we're just going to move left and right. So you feel like your weight moves from the left foot into the right foot. You can eventually lift your toes off the mat if you need to. You guys seem to be all right. We'll experiment more. We're layering things in a practice like this. Okay, good. Come all the way to the front. Left knee points forward, right heel back, warrior two. So Maria, the left knee towards me. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Make sure that back leg is nice and strong for pulling in both directions. Arms are strong in front and back. Right hand down, right leg. Left arm reaches up and over. Reverse the warrior, breathing into the left lung. Exhale, circle the hands around the left foot. Right hand to the floor, left hand to the sky, open twist. All on the ball of the back foot. Yes, perfect. For breathing deeply into that left lung. Good. As you exhale, take both hands on the inside of the left foot. And so they call this the lizard pose. And here we bow down on the inside of it as much as you can. It can be even just the chin dropping. And then pull yourself forward as much as you can on the inhale. Step forward into a forward fold on the exhale. Good. Yeah. So you can find a wee sway here. Make sure the knees are bent. Make sure you've got enough space between the feet. Make sure your breath is soft and maybe has texture to it if you like. Good. Press the feet down into the floor again. Then reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. As you exhale, take the hands onto the body, onto the heart. Close your eyes if that feels okay to you. Let your weight come into your heels. Let your attention be not only at the space behind your eyes, but also underneath your hands, and also all the way around to the back of your body. There's so much calling on our attention out there, especially at this time of year. Can we take a moment to tend to what our heart is telling us? So underneath the explicit sound of your heartbeat and of your breath, is there something you can hear a little bit deeper underneath that? Even if the answer is no, for now, just the curiosity of listening. It's like listening to a dear friend. Think when you were in trouble, when you came to a friend, and all you wanted them to do was listen. The same thing that you're doing for yourself now. Okay, we have another flow to celebrate this, to get even deeper inside. Let your weight come to your heels, arms to the sky, inhale. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your left foot back. Runner's lunge first. Stamp your right heel down into the floor and then inhale, high lunge. Turn around towards your left. Toes in, heels out. Hands onto the hips. Press your heels down into the floor and lift your chest up. And then as you exhale, we fold. You can use a bend in the knees. See if you can let your head be soft. Your neck soft. So you can keep your hands on your hips if you like, or you can let the hands come to the floor, your choice. We'll do a second variation the second time around. Main thing is, actually often I like to think in this posture about a little door on the top of the head. So it's an inversion, in fact. A little door on the top of your head where your thoughts come out and go, well, and fall out, and then you close the door, and then you're done with that. So you can do that if you want. Don't have to. But let your neck be soft. Let your inner arches of your feet lift. So you feel grounded as well as buoyant. Then press your feet down into the floor, micro bend the knees, and let your heart lift up as you come up to stand. Good. Now, heels in, toes out. Take your hands to prayer again. And we start to find these little waves left and right. Left and right. Now, this is where we again have options. You can start to let the toes lift. You might want to get the feet a little bit wider. You can take the weight all the way over the right foot, letting the left toes lift. You can take the weight all the way over the left foot, weight in the heel. Yeah. You can stay with this. If that's enough, you can stay with it, or you can go a little bit lower. You can take your hands to the floor. Ooh, knees. Okay, careful there. If you like, oh, okay, good morning. You can go to the other side. You don't have to go so low if it feels okay. I hope there's no pain in those knees. No, okay, good. You can stay higher. You can have your hands lifted, your choice. But see if you can be really smooth. Also, I always tell you guys that there's this move I learned from a GSA girl a couple years ago. It was this lovely ninja arm move. And I always teach it now. And thanks to that girl, whose name I don't remember. Good. Come around to the front of your mat. Left hand down, right hand to the sky. Open twist. Spinning around towards the sky as much as you can. With your heart. With your breath. Yes. Good. Now, another one of my favorite moves. Turn towards your right. We come onto the outside edge of the left foot and the right foot. Left hand stays where it is. Let your left hip drop towards the floor as your right hand reaches towards the back of the mat. So you stretch through the left side of the hip. So you're turning around. Good, good, good. Lovely. So keep pressing down with that left hand so you're lifting yourself up off the mat. The left heel, the hand are only thing on the floor. Take another breath in. Then exhale, take your right hand down towards the floor. Again, it's that lizard, dive down and then swoop up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Ripple it forward into a plank, through a wave, heels high, hips high, upper back rounds, middle back rounds, belly lifted. And then all the way back, downward facing dog. Lovely and slow. Good, good, good. Again, inhale, ripple it forward. Yes, lovely. Exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. Last time. Here we ripple forward, heels high, hips high, rounding upper back. Stay on the toes and then let your hips drop and come forward. Press your heels back as you lift the heart forward, upward facing dog. Bend the knees, come back, downward facing dog. Sigh out the mouth. If you feel warm, I think we all feel warm. That's good. That's what we're here for. It's winter. We're getting the heat inside. Know that everything you feel is good here. There's no like you're failing or anything else like that. Never, never, never. Not in this room. Let's do the other side. Walk towards the hands. Little steps or big steps all the way to the front of the mat. Fold and soften. Maybe let the waves come into your arms like a willow tree. Press the heels into the floor and then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Find your halfway lift. Step your right foot back. So from runner's lunge to high lunge. And then around towards the side. Toes in, heels out. Hands on the hips first. Good, so here, the variation, we can take our hands behind and interlace them. We roll the shoulders back. So the weight is in the balls of the feet and the heels. See if the inner arches can lift. So as you inhale, you pull the hands back to lift the heart up, up, up. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, beautiful, fold forward. So your hands can stay close to your hips or they can fold up and over. Whatever feels good for you, whatever works for you today. Let your shoulders be soft, your neck soft, your breath soft. Know that you don't have to reach. There's no striving. There's no goal. It's about the presence of being with yourself right here and now. Stay for another exhale, let your skull be heavy. Press into the feet, bend the knees, and then inhale, lift yourself up, open the arms up. Take the toes out, take that palms together, and then we start to bend into the left knee, into the right knee. Good. We can come all the way down, Skandasana. Okay, good. Waking up the joints today for sure. You can travel, you can keep the hands high. Good, from one side to the other. Finally, we're going to come around towards the left foot at the front of the mat, lift the heart up, and then dive down. Right hand to the floor, left hand to the sky, open twist. And then we drop the right hip down for that, turning all the way around. Good, yes, yes, yes. So the left foot turns as well as the right. See if you can elevate the right hip off the mat, turning your heart around towards the back of the mat, good. And then exhale, both hands down towards the floor. Step back into downward facing dog. Last vinyasa before we get cozy and lie down. Inhale, heels high, hips high, ripple forward. Good, nice and slow, lovely. All the way back, downward facing dog. Know how strong you are. This is the last piece of effort. Heels high, hips high, ripple forward. Navel to the spine. Good, exhale, downward facing dog. You've got it. Inhale, ripple forward, come forward. Stay on the toes, let the pubic bone come forward. Upward facing dog, toes tucked, heels back. So the legs lift. Good, beautiful. Exhale, child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice. Let's all do child's pose. Child's pose, child's pose. Yes, good. The people have spoken. That's good. Here for sure, we'll take a breath and feel how the back of the ribs expands with it. Part the lips and exhale. By this point, you don't even need to put your hands onto your belly, into your heart. You already can feel that connection. The breath is so beautifully woven in between your ribs, into the texture and the caverns of your heart. We're warm and melty. We can maybe let things shift a little bit. So let something else soften even more. We're going to add a little bit of an adaptation onto this shape. So we move into the yin part of our practice. So walk your hands back towards you, just a teensy tad. Keep the legs as they are. And kind of like we did at the beginning, we're going to reach the right hand underneath the left armpit. And then let your head come back down to the mat. So here you can bend your left elbow a wee bit. And there's a couple of things you can do. You can either leave your hand where it is in front of your head, or you can place the back of the hand underneath your forehead. Or what I quite like is to turn the palm to face up and hold your head in your hand. So it's literally you holding yourself. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Everything is a suggestion. At this point in the practice, it's those waves which are subsiding a little bit. So there's still activity happening in the nervous system. The blood is still rushing quite quickly through the veins. And so it's possibly the most challenging point because we have to allow that to flow through us and soften into it. It's like riding a roller coaster almost. Sometimes the experiences of the physical body can be so overwhelming, from grief to anxiety to pleasure. And we as yogis, our job is to know how to surf the waves. The next few postures that we're going to do until the end of the practice are going to be longer. I know, even though it won't be physically challenging, there'll be a staying with yourself. So notice as we stop moving quite so much, the mind suddenly wants to go places. See if you can invite it back towards yourself again and again. Take a breath into the back of the lungs, into the back of the ribs, into the back of the hips. Unravel your right hand. Just take it forward. From here, we'll take the left hand underneath the right armpit. And again, you've got your options. The hand can be on the floor, the right one, or it can be underneath your head, palm facing down, or palm facing up. Here, see if you can let your hips be heavier. So you don't have to push. It's not muscular effort. It's more like, what can I let go of to let that happen? There's not so much you've got to do here, but see if you can allow your breath to be slightly fuller. Allow your breath to deepen again. Like you flood this shape with breath before we leave it. Pull your left hand back towards the middle. Then take both hands forward. Maybe the palms can face up if that feels okay. You can let your forehead be heavy against the floor, almost like a cue, like, hey brain, you can have a wee rest, thanks. Slowly we're going to walk the hands back towards you. So that we are going to sit on the heels just for a second before we transition to the next posture. And here's where you can use your blanket, maybe. It's to sit on, but you might not need it. Basically, we're going to curtsy off to the right-hand side of the heels. This is a nice, neat little transition. So you're sitting like a little mermaid, and then take your left foot and cross it over the right thigh. The blanket here is to make it a little bit easier to sit so that your hips can be square. We're only here for a short time, but it's nice and handy for the next one. The right hand is going to come onto the left leg, left hand behind you, and we'll curl towards the left. Now this is a yin practice, so we don't have to be super forceful with it. You don't have to go to your absolute maximum. Plus, it's totally cool to let your shoulders round and your chin round if that feels good. On your shoulders, on the muscles of the back. What you can do is extend the bottom leg forward. Because then it might be easier to sit. Also, I can give you my blanket if you'd like to use it. Or if you got one, let me give you my blanket. I promise it's very safe. Or Rachel, oh, you're very kind. Okay. So what you do, my friend, is sit, lover of Julianne Barwick, take the bottom leg forward and the other leg crosses over. So your hips can still be square. So which one are we crossing? I've forgotten. The right one crosses, you've got it. And then turn towards the knee. Yeah. So cross the other leg over, just so we're doing the other side. No. Which leg? Yeah, exactly. So the person beside you, her left leg is crossing over the right, so extend your right leg in front. Yeah, exactly. And then turn like this towards your knee. Ah, you've got it. Exactly. You feel the low back opening, twist. Okay, lots of faffing. That's all good. Okay. Since we had that, let's get quiet just for another moment or two. Let your hips sink into the floor. And see if you can unravel yourself in a wee spiral again. Okay. Take another deeper breath. And then keep your bottom leg, so I'll come back to you. Take your top leg and extend it forward. So everyone else the left knee and you the right knee is going to stay bent. So basically you can just join us. The left knee will be bent and the right foot straight. Cool. From here, you have a couple of options. So I invite you to sit on the blanket. I really like to do it. Apart from anything else, to make your bum a little bit warmer against the floor. And you've got a couple of options depending on what you want. So you can turn towards your extended leg if you'd like to stretch either the hamstrings or maybe the low back on the left side. And if you'd like to stretch the inner thighs, you can fold down the middle. And so we can rest on the elbows. If you actually get close to the leg, you can do that, or you can stack your hands. This is somewhere where we're going to flop and release. You also can hang. So if you don't get low, that's totally cool. It's almost better in a way because you've got plenty of gravity to act on you, and there'll be somewhere to go. But wherever you are, see if you can let the floor take your weight. Yeah. Don't worry about the person beside you because all of our bodies will be particularly different in this position because it's not muscles working. connective tissue and bones and things. Most of all, I invite you to let your shoulders droop away from you. Let your pelvis be heavy on the floor. Let your breath be velvety. Thing about yin as well is when we're still, we want to start pulling on something and maybe readjusting something. Unless you're in like pain, in which case you definitely make an adjustment because we don't want to be in pain. But see if you can stay with yourself. If you feel tightness in places, know that if you accept it, it will soften. Postures like this, we allow them to act on us. We have to step out the way. Take another breath into the back of the body. Exhale. And then walk yourself back up. Slowly, slowly. So we'll bend the straight leg. And then take the knees to face the other direction. Take the left foot over the right. So my gentleman friend is going to do the opposite leg. Yeah. So in your case, your left foot's going to be extended and the right foot crossing over. But everyone else, just because you did the other side, and it's totally cool. Everyone else, we're taking the left foot crossing over the right one. And then we're going to twist. Unless that's the same side that we did the first time and I'm totally confused. Does it feel the same or different? Okay, great. That's true. Thanks, Caitlin. Okay, smashing. Let's twist around. I think that's right. It looks right to me. Yes, it does. Doesn't matter if we're all doing different sides. As long as you're doing a different side to the last time. Left and right is always a challenge, hey? Okay, let the breath pour into you. So this is the thing, that life is full of complication and faff. And it pulls us out of ourselves. But if we can have the practice of going back and back and back inside, no matter what's happening, then we'll be resilient forever. So take a soft breath. Slowly inhale and lift yourself up and reach your left leg long. The right knee will be bent. And then this time we fold over the left leg. So when we fold in this way, the spine gets rounded. And I always think of it as like a turtle shell. It can feel quite dense, in particular if you've got a tight back, which many of us do because we sit, computers and things like that. So see if you can let your breath kind of penetrate into that shell of your back. And maybe soften inside it. Maybe you can let your body be so soft that it's lifted and dropped by the breath. Again, let yourself be filled with breath. Exhale. Walk yourself back up your leg. Okay, bend both knees. If you're sitting on your blanket, we'll remove it for now. And take your hands underneath your knees. And curling through the spine, we'll roll slowly down. So see if you can put down your tail, and then your sacrum, and then your low back. One vertebra at a time. Rolling slowly down onto the floor. Keeping the soles of the feet on the earth, until we come back down to lie on the floor. So keep the knees bent for now, because we've got one more shape to make before we lie down. Although you might just do a little comparison to how we began the practice, see if there's any difference. Take your left knee in towards your chest and take a hold either of the shin or the hamstring, whatever feels okay for you and your knees. And let your shoulders drop down to the mat. Can you make your tongue soft and your throat soft and your belly soft? So that we can in general get a little bit closer to the earth. Here, if it feels okay for you, you can extend your right leg so that it's straight, so the right heel meets the floor. And then holding onto the left knee, you can start to make little circles with the knee, left and right, left and right. So you can kind of feel the thigh bone moving around in the hip socket. Exactly. And there'll be a nice effect of your lower back kind of rocking against the earth again as well. So you can make those circles a little bit bigger, perhaps. And then gently take your knee over towards the right-hand side of you. So it moves to the right-hand side, and it doesn't have to meet the floor. It can hover in the air, or you could use your blanket to kind of prop it up. That might feel nice, as your left hand comes out towards the left. Now, first we stay here, we have another thing to add to this if you like, but which is optional. But first of all, most importantly, see if you can make your left shoulder heavy down to the mat. You can either gaze towards your left hand or you can close your eyes. And let your breath and your attention move around you in that spiral again. Feel that your belly is soft. Maybe you can feel that tugging, gentle tugging just underneath the skin as the tissues start to soften a little bit. Before we add anything onto it, we want to let this settle a bit so that we're ready. So that you can feel you've melted around the shape a little bit with your soft tissues. So if you like, you can stay exactly as you are. Or if you like, you can bend your right knee and take your right foot in your left hand. So it looks a bit like this. So you've effectively like closed the circuit. If your foot is out of reach, please do not stress. That's not something to worry about. This is just an optional add-on. If you have it, then still think that your left shoulder is reaching towards the floor. And you're opening yourself up in all directions at once. Still let your face be soft. And your belly. So here we'll stay for one more big breath. And if you had the foot, you can release it, the right foot. Take your left knee back towards the center. Let your pelvis meet the earth again. We take a little moment for that rebound before swapping over, taking the right, pardon me, taking the right knee in. Good, so here we can extend the left leg forward and start to make circles with that right knee. It's like you're easing yourself in to the hip socket and all the tissues around it. Good, so you take the right knee over to the left side. The right hand out towards the right. And the gaze. As you swap sides, notice how there's this readjustment. And how, in fact, the body is not this permanent thing that we think is so important. It's about as permanent as a candle. Some heat can melt it. That means that it can be whatever you want it to be. But as you know, if we want to work with a material, we have to know it first. So every time your mind wants to go and do things, bring it back. Bring it back here to what you feel, to where you are, to your breath. Know that there is no limit to the depths inside of you. If you like, you can take the left foot with your right hand. If you'd like to close that circuit. Once you've got like the ends of the pose, then let yourself soften around it. Think that the floor is like your main prop here. Take another breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Release your foot if you have it. Take the knee back towards the center. Take both knees in and give them a squeeze. Maybe rock side to side. And then here's where, if you have nothing to add in terms of clothing and props and stuff, then you can just extend your legs to the outside edges of your mat. If you have any jumpers or socks or anything you'd like to put on for the final resting position, then now is the time to do it. And if you have a blanket, cover yourself up with it. My teacher's teacher always says that with the practice, we heat ourselves up. It's like rice. Okay, if you don't know how to cook rice, this is how you do it. You boil it to like 90%, and then you put the lid on and leave it, and it becomes fluffy. And when you do your practice and you heat yourself mentally and physically, then you put on your lid, your blanket. If you don't have one, don't be sad. It's okay. But put on a jumper or something if you got one. Okay, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Yeah, so you'll be fluffy. Now here's where we can take a deep breath in again. I'm going to look for a light switch. And as you exhale, let yourself sink into the floor. We think of this posture just as having a rest at the end, but arguably it's the most important one of all. Let your heartbeat be the rhythm, set the pace and the rhythm for your experience, for your contemplation, for your unfurling. Let your breath guide you inside into this body which is your home. No matter what happens outside, with the weather, with people, with crazy goings on, you have this home inside of you. This is why we do this practice. Not to change anything, to improve anything, but to remember that everything inside is just as it should be. Can you come back to the sound of your own breath? Can you hear how it intermingles with the ambient sounds of the space? Can you feel what your body feels like lying on the floor? With the texture of your clothes or your blanket or anything else touching the skin? Can you notice how your body feels compared to how we began? If there are any other shifts in energy or mood? Every single time you use any of the senses or even just the attention and intention of turning inwards, our body, our mind, our heart thanks us just for listening, for tending to our own experience. Turn towards yourself. Be eternally resilient and shine even in the dark days. Take a breath to flood your body. Perhaps exhale through the mouth if you like. Start to bring movement back to fingers and toes. Maybe circling the wrists and the ankles, maybe turning the head left and right if you like. When you're ready, bend the knees in towards the chest and roll over to the side. Settle there, don't rush. And when you're ready, press up to sit. We'll take a breath in all together. Exhale through the mouth. Know that through the winter, you always have yourself, your beautiful body and heart to be cozy within. Om Shanti. Thank you, my friends. Take it easy. I ran a little bit later just because we started a little bit later, but I guess unless they come in with like axes in 2 minutes time to break down the door, I think we'll be okay. So have a beautiful evening. Don't do anything too stressful. Thank you. So wonderful.